Welcome to QB Unfiltered. My name is Keith Simons, and this is what you will get when you subscribe to the channel QB Unfiltered. My podcast will cover almost exclusive quarterback analysis, quarterback news, my takes on quarterbacks, quarterback play. I'm going to cover multiple categories in quarterback play, including the physical mechanics of throwing the ball, pocket mechanics, feet, leadership on and off the field and in the locker room, and then miscellaneous, which is everything that has to do with your quarterback that's not field related. I will talk about constructing the quarterbacks, okay, the drills and the mental approach involved in developing really good, solid QBs. And then I'll discuss some of my coaching strategies and offensive coordinator schemes and approach, primarily in the passing game. This will be my true and honest analysis of QBs at every level. I'll try to make it streamlined and very easy to understand. And I will no doubt upset some of you with some negative analysis on your favorite team's quarterbacks. But I'm always going to be honest. I'm always going to give you my take and hopefully a little bit of insight into playing the position. All right, a little bit about my football background. I played high school ball in the state of Washington in 1976. I was first-team All-State quarterback. I was also named the State of Washington Player of the Year. I signed a scholarship to go play in the Pac-8 for Oregon State University. The Pac-8, hats off, and a big shout out to the Pac-8, the Pac-10, and the Pac-12. Back when I signed in 1976 and I went for my freshman year in 77, the Pac-8 consisted of University of Washington, Washington State, Oregon State, Cal, Stanford, UCLA, and USC. It was a hell of a conference. I was at Oregon State for my freshman year, and then I transferred to Idaho State, finished up there. It was a great experience playing for the Bengals. We won the 1981 1AA National Championship. As I said, it was a great experience, and I learned a whole lot about playing the quarterback position. I had a great QB coach, which I'll talk about later on. And then I got my degree from Idaho State and went back up to the state of Washington to begin my coaching career. And that started in the high school system, where I was a high school assistant coach for 4 years until I sort of matured and realized really what I wanted to do with my career. And that was coach at the collegiate level. And so in 1986, 87, I made that decision and was hired at Humboldt State University in California. It's an NCAA Division II school. I was hired as a GA, a graduate assistant, and it was a great training experience for me because I was the receiver coach. I coached the receivers by myself. And the biggest benefit to being a GA at Humboldt State was I went on the road recruiting. I had my own recruiting area. That really laid the groundwork for the rest of my career with recruiting. You know, there's an old saying in football, it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jims and the Joes. And so Humboldt State was a really, really positive and great experience for me. When I was done at Humboldt, I got my master's degree there, a 2-year program. I was fortunate enough to be hired at 30 years old to be the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach at Wayne State College in Nebraska. That's NCAA Division II. At Wayne State, I was named the National Offensive Coordinator of the Year in 1995. That was the first year that they gave those awards out to the coordinators from Division I all the way down to the lowest level of college coaching. I say it's a shame that that was the first year that they gave that out because that was in 95. But in 93 and 94, we had better offenses. In fact, in 1993, our offense became only the second NCAA offense, all levels, only the second offense to have a 3,000-yard passer, two 1,000-yard receivers, and a 1,000-yard running back on the same offense. We were number 2 in doing that. The University of Houston in 1989 with Heisman Trophy winner Andre Ware at quarterback, they were the first team to do that. We were the second team. And the really amazing part about those stats, we had a third receiver that had about 860 yards, and we had a second running back that had about 750 yards. So we could have been 3 1,000-yard receivers and 2 1,000-yard backs. We were that good and very, very explosive. My quarterback in 1993 was Brett Salisbury, who was a finalist that year for the Harlan Hill Award. The Harlan Hill is the Division II equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. The following season, I had a receiver, Byron Chamberlain, who went on to play for the Denver Broncos and win 2 Super Bowls, who was also a Harlan Hill finalist. So we had some great skill guys that played for me at Wayne State. I had 2 quarterbacks during that time at Wayne State, and I was there for 7 years, but I had 2 quarterbacks that set all-time national Division II records that lasted for a long time. Now, these 4 records have since been broken, but for a number of years, Salisbury had the all-time Division II record for most 300-yard passing games in a season with 10, and most consecutive 300-yard passing games in a season with 10. And then I had a quarterback named Jared DeGeorgia, who came in and took over when Salisbury was done playing. DeGeorgia set a all-time Division II record for most pass attempts in a game. And I'm not exactly 100% accurate on these numbers, but I'm really, really close. He had like 83 or 85 attempts in one game. And then he also had the all-time Division II record for most completions in a game. It was that game, obviously. And it was either 58 or 60 completions in one game. So we threw the hell out of the ball. We put up really good numbers. We used to call them comic book numbers, or we called it Sega football video game stuff. This brought me now to a crossroads in my career. I had a huge decision to make. I could either stay at the Division II level and become a head coach. I could move up to Division I and try to climb the ladder there. Or the other one that came into the equation was junior college football. And my recruiting area at Wayne State was Southern California junior colleges. California plays the best junior college football in the country. We made a living on California JUCO guys, bringing them out to play at Wayne State. But my area was Southern California. And I'll never forget the first year that I went there. We went 2 times a year to recruit. We went during the spring, and we also went at the end of the football season so that we could be physically on the campuses and at practice during bowl week for the JC Bowl games down there. So we could watch these players play in practice, and then we could go watch them play in the bowl game. And a great opportunity. But the first time that I went down there and did that, I'll never forget this. I went to a bowl game in San Diego. This was in the first week in December, right? There's probably about 3 feet of snow on the ground in Nebraska. The wind is howling in Nebraska. It's probably about 28 degrees, right? So I'm at this bowl game in San Diego. Kickoff's at 1 o'clock. The sun's out. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's 75 or 80 degrees, and everybody there is wearing board shorts and flip-flops. And I'm like, holy cow. This is college football. I think I could fit in this environment. Along that timeline, I met a lot with a coach that I really respected. His name was Tom Kraft, who was the head coach at a junior college down there in the San Diego area. He would later go on to San Diego State as offensive coordinator and head coach, and then go back to the JC level. I used to meet with him a lot and talk offense. You know, we both basically ran the same type of scheme. But he said something to me that really stuck with me and really changed my line of thought for my coaching career. He said, you know, I've been at the JC level and I've been at the Division I level. I'm back at the junior college level because that is the best level of coaching in college football. And he gave me his reasons for it, and it really hit home for me. One of the things that I really felt strongly about was a lot of my buddies that were coaching Division I had told me throughout the years that in order to stay in D1, they had to bounce around the country, and that they ended up a lot of times in towns or cities or regions of the country that they just didn't like, their family didn't like. They didn't like living there, but they did it to chase that Division I job. That was something that I wasn't interested in. And so I made up my mind that I was going to find the best head junior college job in the state of California that was in the best area to raise my family. My wife, Stephanie, we had 2 young girls. And so I made the decision to go the junior college route. I never have regretted that decision. It was a great professional coaching decision for me. So I get the head coaching job at Santa Rosa Junior College. It's Northern California. It's right in the wine country. It's beautiful up there. 17 years as the head coach. I was also the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach. In those 17 years, we went to 10 bowl games, 9 consecutive bowl games. We had one offered to us another year that I turned down because we had disciplinary problems on our team and our guys just didn't deserve to go to a bowl. We had a really successful program, and during that time frame, 17 seasons, we led the nation in passing 8 times. 8 times, and there were 3 other times where we finished in the top 5 in the country. And also during that 17-year career, over 17 years, we averaged just a shade over 40 points a game. So offensively, we could really do some good stuff. We scored a lot of points, and we were the best throwing team in the country year after year after year. One of my quarterbacks at SRJC, Greg Alexander, finished his career as the all-time national junior college leader in career touchdown passes. I think he still has that record. Greg replaced Colt Brennan at the University of Hawaii. It's a hell of a QB. This year, he's going into the California Community College Football Hall of Fame, which is an unbelievable honor. All the great players that came out of the junior college system in California, plus the coaches, Bill Walsh, John Madden. So Greg Alexander, my quarterback in 2006 and 2007, is going into that Hall of Fame this next year. As I said, we did some great stuff offensively. One little interesting note, we had a national record as an offense that lasted for exactly 1 week. In 2005, we scored 49 points in 1 quarter. 49 points in 1 quarter, which was an all-time junior college national record. We were feeling really good about ourselves, and it lasted for 1 week because the following week, Blinn Junior College in Texas scored 56 points in 1 quarter. Their quarterback was Cam Newton. Okay, so when I stepped down from the head job at Santa Rosa Junior College, I really wanted to just get in and coordinate somewhere at the high school level, and that's what I did. I ended up being an OC for one of my former quarterbacks at the JC at one of the local high schools. We had a quarterback there in 2015 and 16 named Jack Newman. If Jack would have played every quarter and the full game, every game for his career, he would have a slew of California state passing records. And all you got to do is look in the record books for California high school football to see the great quarterbacks that are in that record book. But Jack would have had his name etched in there all over the place. I'm going to give you some amazing stats about this young man because it really ties in with what we did at the JC throwing the ball and also what we did at Wayne State throwing the ball and the types of numbers that we put up. But get a load of this. In 2 years as a varsity starter, Jack started 27 games. So we went deep into the playoffs both years, his junior and senior year. So he had 27 starts. He only played 6 full games out of 27 starts, 6 full games. And in doing that, in those 2 years, he still threw for about 9,800 and some yards and an amazing 109 touchdown passes. He threw 54 tugs his junior year, and he threw 55 his senior year. Those are amazing stats, but also get a load of this. In 3 games during his career, he threw 6 touchdown passes in 1 quarter. He did that 3 times. He threw for over 400 yards in 1 half 3 times. He had 31 completions in a high school half. 31 completions. He did set a state record. He threw 5 touchdown passes on 5 consecutive snaps in a game. 5 touchdown passes on 5 consecutive snaps. When Jack was a senior in 2016, he didn't throw his first interception until the 9th game of the season. So going into game 9, he had 44 touchdown passes and 0 picks. Amazing. Unbelievable. And those are the type of numbers that we were able to put up there. My coaching style and my offensive scheme really has been shaped by the following guys. My quarterback coach at Idaho State, his name was Mike Shepard. I really owe a lot to him. Mike went on to have a really long career as an NFL QB coach. But all of my philosophy and thought process with footwork and throwing the ball is what I learned from him when he coached me at Idaho State. That's Mike Shepard. Then Bart Andrus. Bart Andrus was the offensive coordinator at Humboldt State when I went there. Bart ended up going on to be a head college coach, a head coach in NFL Europe, and a assistant coach in the NFL, and really, really a smart guy. He was, he came from BYU. He knew the BYU passing game, and, you know, that's the start of the air raid. So I was fortunate enough to hook up with him at Humboldt State. And then I stole stuff from the following guys: Steve Spurrier at the University of Florida with the Fun and Gun, Dennis Erickson with the University of Miami with his one-back stuff, and particularly his trips stuff and his 5 wide receiver. And then Tom Kraft, who I talked about, who was a junior college head coach and then San Diego State offensive coordinator and head coach. He's still coaching down in Southern California and lighting people up offensively. Of course, Hal Mummy and Mike Leach, who I had the great experience to coach against when they just broke into college coaching at Iowa Wesleyan in 1992. We went to Mount Pleasant at Wayne State College to play them. Mummy was the head coach. Leach was his offensive coordinator. I said this in another show. We thought we were pretty damn good on offense, and I think we scored 42 points. We held them to like 63 or 66 points. So, and then you've got Tony Franklin. You know, Tony Franklin coached at Cal, where he tutored and mentored Jared Goff, who was the #1 pick in the draft. and really did a great job as an offensive coordinator. So I stole stuff from all those guys and kind of developed my scheme, which was really a hybrid of the BYU system, the fun and gun at Florida, the University of Miami with Erickson, and then the air raid. And then I pretty much put that together. And for about 32 years, I had the same playbook of about 11 or 12 plays. And that was it. It's with that experience, both as a player and a coach, that I started this podcast as an avenue for me to discuss QB play. I'm going to give you my take, and I'm going to give you my analysis on what is definitely the hardest position to play in all of sports, the quarterback position. I'm going to leave you with this. Remember, always throw the ball short to guys who can score. See ya.